Welcome to the Full Send Living Show. This week, we're going to talk about what does it mean to be a man in 2021.
Let's send it.
Guys, really upset. Things did not go the way that we hoped they would with these next two episodes of Full Send Living that are coming out. Basically, the camera was not recording the audio of our voices talking. We record the audio of our microphones separately, and we use the audio in the camera and in the microphones to sync up. And unfortunately, I had zero audio on the camera, and so we weren't able to sync up our audio and our video together. Unfortunately, there is a portion of this episode that does not have video because one of our cameras died, and the only camera that was working with syncing audio was that camera that died. So there is a portion of this video that doesn't have any footage on it. So we're sorry about that. The next video will have footage, but however, our main camera won't be working. So these next two episodes are going to be a little weird, but we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. But in this video, we're only going to have the side angle camera. So we're sorry we're not looking at your beautiful faces and engaging with you that way, but at least you can still get the side footage and see some of our expressions that way. Thank you guys so much for supporting us through these technical difficulties. You mean the world to us. We love you guys, and it won't happen again. So enjoy today's episode. What's up, guys? Thank you guys so much for joining this amazing episode of Full Send Living. While you're with us, hit that subscribe button for more awesome topics for our show that we're going to be covering. And we got some fun stuff coming out, so you're not going to want to miss it. Hit that like button and make sure you subscribe so that way our content is delivered directly to you.
Boom, right to the celly.
Like the most nice mailman that ever existed. Just
hey
like,
there.
Hey, Full Send Living's got a new episode for you.
I'm Nate Thompson, Ethan Bricker. We're your hosts today. So what we wanted to talk about today was, what does it look like to be a man in 2021?
Yeah. What does it look like to be a man?
It looks like skinny jeans.
It definitely looks like skinny jeans, sriracha, and I was going to just start naming off hot sauces. Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Well, now it looks like mullets and mustaches.
It's getting weird out there. It's getting weird out there, people.
Yes. Mustaches and mullets are now normal. I was watching the Olympic trials, and there's all these dudes running around on the track, and they've just got the most like huge mullets, single mustache. It's getting weird. It's getting really weird.
I can't keep up with that. No. I am thinning. I will say it. I'm thinning.
Show the people,
on
Nate.
The top.
Show the people.
Maybe another day.
Show the people. Classic.
I would have a skullet.
A skullet.
Yeah.
Just only the back.
Just the back. A ponytail. I would do a ponytail. Maybe a French braid.
Yeah. Okay.
That
seems pretty
really
masculine. Yeah. So we wanted to talk about this topic specifically just because there's definitely something happening in our culture that has caused men to be weak, men to be lackadaisical in culture and in society. A lot of men have taken the back seat to not even want to lead culture anymore or really make a difference, because it's just easier to just sit in the backseat and do nothing when, you know, as men, we were created to make a difference. We were created to lead really well. And I just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. So
I want to say, I think some of that, personally, I think some of that has started with even, it's going to sound dumb maybe, but just like sitcoms and stuff like that, like television, like growing up. I cannot really think of any sitcom where, what, Full House?
I can't. No,
like,
even
I
that.
don't even
Danny's
know.
Even in Full House, Danny is like the clean freak. He's like Mr. Mom in the sense that he's just like, I got to clean everything. Everything's got to be clean, and he's so busy cleaning that he doesn't even care about what's going on in his kids' lives.
I just feel like it was like a lot of dads are always portrayed as just dumb or like idiots.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just remember I don't know. I think I just wonder that
You know
with
who's
an
not
idea.
dumb? The only dad that's not dumb in a sitcom?
What?
Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
He's the only dad that's like, he's not dumb. He's like strong.
Yeah, he was
like
a judge, right?
Yeah,
Was
he's
he
a
a
judge.
judge?
He like took Will under his wing really well.
Prince, you know.
Yeah. But like you
tell
could,
you about a.
yeah, sorry, keep going. But you take that and then you compare it to like Full House or most Disney movies now, where Disney has taken dads and made them off to be like this like dumb father figure that doesn't know. I mean, for instance, the movie Up. No, not Up. The Inside Out. The father.
Out.
His daughter's having a mental breakdown because they're moving, and he's just like, I brought home broccoli pizza, and it's just like he's, and then they show what's going on in his brain, and they're like, he's like, what should I do? The mom's like, do something, Phil, do something or whatever, and he's just sitting there like, oh, they wanted me, like, oh, there's something happening, and they just didn't do anything.
Do you think like
it.
that kind of like sets like a tone, even like in the subconscious of watching movies like that over and over as a kid, that it just starts developing an idea that you don't even know that you have? Especially maybe like if maybe like, I don't know, a lot of dads are absent.
Yeah.
Let's just call it as we see it. A lot of dads can be turds.
Yeah.
So then like when it's like reiterated by society, like you don't, and not only do you have nothing to pull from in a house, actual home, you don't even have like the pull from like potential of what you could be from a made up TV thing.
Yeah. I think it starts to make, as a man or as a boy, as you're growing up, I think it starts to make up you start to believe that this is your role in society, that this is how things should be and who you should be and stuff like that.
Dude, and it's always like when there is a problem, they're like, oh, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to like be a part of it.
And let's get into that. Being a man means you confront hard things, that you can handle hard things in hard situations. Let me give you a story.
Okay. Story
So
time, children. Children, gather around.
Hopefully, I don't, it doesn't matter.
Just say it.
This is a hard situation. So at our current property that we live at, we have neighbors that they're great people. They're nice people, but they also like to walk into our backyard constantly and come and see us. Mm-hmm. But my issue is I've got 4 children in our backyard, and I want them to be able to play without a random man showing up in the backyard and me not know who's back there. So basically, the other day we were back there in the yard. I had previously discussed with them, like, I don't want you in my backyard. Like, this is private space. This is not for you. This is my land. This is where my children should be able to run and play and not fear for who could randomly approach them. And so he comes into my backyard, and I'm like, what are you doing here?
Hey,
and basically, we had some people over, and I didn't want to embarrass my neighbor by being like, dude, why are you back here? They go home, and so then I'm talking to my mom about it, and my mom's like, yeah, I saw them back in the orchard the couple days ago. And I was just thinking, like, what in the world? Like, we had already talked to them, don't go back in the orchard, and they were back in the orchard. And so for me, I'm like, I want to love these people. Like, I don't want to just cast them away.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to you about this. I'm like, it's like, I want to love these people. They're good people. They really are nice people. But ultimately, I don't know them, and so I'm not going to just let them walk around my property when I have my kids running around. Like, I'm too protective of my children to let that happen. So basically, it happened. So Lydia and I were talking, and we were just seeing like, well, like, what do we do here? And I told her, I'm going to go to their front door right now. But
instead, he went through their backyard.
Yeah. So instead, I walked into their backyard. I was like, hey. So one thing I feel like I've noticed as a man is that, and I wouldn't say that I'm the most manly man ever, but I will say that the difference between a boy and a man is that when conflict arises or something challenging gets in front of you, the difference between a boy and a man is that a man will confront that head on instead of shying away from it.
And I think too, like if I think of being like strong as a dad or husband or man or whatever. I also think of just like, this is, I don't want to go too off topic with this, but I don't know what.
Yeah, I got to finish my story too.
Finish. Oh my gosh. You got me thinking. I'm, like, I'm sorry. Go.
So I'm like, where are we?
Nothing happened, guys. Yeah. He just chickened out and went back home.
Yeah, I was like, I finished it off with like, I'm a man. I did it. As in, I did nothing. No, that would be the opposite of what we're trying to say. What I did was I went to their front door and I said, "Look, guys, we do love you as neighbors. We care about you. We will, if you need a, like we've been sharing tools with them. Like we've just been trying to say, hey, we're here for you. We'll help you when we can.
Yeah, like let's live
as
life
neighbors.
together,
But there's a boundary, which is my land and your land, and I don't want you walking over into my backyard. You're always welcome to come to my front door, but don't walk into my backyard." And so basically I said, look, I said all of that, and then I said, I don't want to get cops involved, but I'm a gentleman, and so I'm going to talk to you face to face, and I'm going to communicate this way and say, this is what boundary I'm setting. There's no more room for wishy-washiness. Like,
just a clear
this is it. Next time,
direct communication.
We'll get some other people involved, but for right now, it's just me and you. So let's just keep it like me and you. And they were totally fine with it. They understood that I was like, I love my children enough to have this converation with you. Right. It's not me being anti you. It's me being pro my children. Dude, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what I tried to communicate to them. And it went super great. And Lydia was like, "You're such a strong man." she's like, "Oh man, you were just so awesome." And I'm just thinking, I'll do, but that's
who else you want me to yell at?
Yeah, I'm like, who you want me to go get my other neighbor behind me?
Dad, get out of my yard.
Get out of here. You get out of here. What are you doing back here?
But leave that side by side.
Yeah, leave the side by side. It's mine now. Anyway, so I just think like sometimes I think society has made men out to be people who don't want, who can't handle confrontation, and people who can't handle rejection too. Yeah. That's a big thing, because you and I have both noticed, especially in younger men, that like they can't handle asking women out. Like, it's terrifying for them. Yeah. And I feel like it's not their fault. It's because every cartoon you've watched has turned men into these weak, like, they're just weak, And so growing up, you watched weak men, except for the superheroes. Yeah. But I digress.
I was thinking too with strength. Not only is it like to just head on, or to be willing to take on a difficult situation. I think too with strength, there's like just consistency in that, like that needs to be there. I think a lot of dudes lack consistency. Like one day they show up and the next day they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's like this, like a sense of like responsibility that they don't want to, that's theirs to take. Mm-hmm. And they just want to pick and choose when they want to be responsible. Yeah. And I feel like that, like,
dude, that's everything. Yeah.
It undercuts every aspect of life without being consistent, because for the strength to hold, and it's like there's just different areas of life that we have to show up for.
Yeah.
And like even like thinking like right with that, like for the little kiddos playing in the yard, like you showed up in that situation, then there's like a consistency where not only is it like showing up for them with to protect them from just like a stranger situation type thing, but then also like consistency of like, I don't know, like even like to like follow through on a discipline, or like even follow through on
just being a dad. Like you think about fatherlessness. Like when you said consistency, I was thinking like what stops consistency, and it's the lack of being able to give up your freedom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that freedom to say, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
But as a man, you got to deal with stuff that you didn't want to deal with, right? Yeah. Let's both take a drink at the same time.
Deal with that.
But I think that you hit the nail on the head right there with consistency. That I feel like is where that fatherlessness comes from, where we see just rampant amounts of people growing up now without dads, because dads are just shying away from their responsibility.
Yeah. To pick and choose is just, there's a sadness there to me. Mm-hmm. What do you think too with I don't know if we move forward a little bit. Something you said about is like vulnerability as a man. What do you think? How do you feel about that right now? What dudes are like?
This is like vulnerability. I feel like with men is a complicated topic. I feel like because I feel like society has turned men into vulnerable men in the weak sense of like if you describe a tank, you're like, here's a tank, here's its vulnerabilities. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's exposing the parts of them the part of that thing that you can break or
sensitive.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It's a sensitive area.
Yeah.
That tank.
It's yeah, exactly.
Right.
And in the same sense, I feel like with men culturally for America, the world, they've taken men and they've, instead of saying, here's how you get inside and there's vulnerable places on the inside, instead they've said, here's the vulnerable places on the outside of them. And they've used that to twist and kind of pervert them into these like men that are limp-wristed and, you know, just like weak. And I will say, I think a lot of it has had to do with the culture of feminism. I'm not anti-feminism, so don't listen to this show and think that like we're like bashing all feminists. We believe in strong, powerful women, but not.
I have one.
I have one too. We both do. They're calling us now. We have to go. Okay, bye guys. They're outside.
Don't be weak.
Don't be weak. You can do it, Nate. Just leave. Yeah. But that's where I think in many ways that's where it comes from, is discounting the vulnerability and discounting the attributes about the other gender that makes them amazing and making them worse, making them worse off to lift up another, like pushing this one down to lift up women. And it shouldn't be that way. It should be, you know, let's lift women up, but men don't need to get discounted because we want powerful women, you know, because women are amazing at many things that men really suck at. And men are very good at many things that women might not be good at. And so if we discount one to make the other one better, we're just exposing vulnerabilities that never were meant to get exposed, you know?
Yeah. I think one thing I think that a lot of dudes need to work on with like in another aspect of like vulnerability is like sharing your thoughts of what's just stuff. Like I felt like for a long time, I'm going to go into a little tiny rant.
Let's go. Rant it.
I feel like for a long time, it's always like, dudes, I'm not thinking anything. Like if the girl asks you, hey, what are you thinking about? Or your wife or something, nothing. Like, and then we have like this sense in culture.
I'm guilty of this so
but
bad.
Wait, listen though. We have a sense in our culture that's like, yeah, dudes, like guys just are truly just not thinking of anything. But you are. This is the bottom line of it. And what I like with Kate, she's asked me like, what are you thinking about? And I'm not thinking of nothing. It just has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
So then, so I've just started telling her, like, I mean, we're like sitting on the back deck, or we're just talking, and she's like, "What are you thinking about?" And we're like, wrapped up a conversation, and my brain is already like, I'm thinking about like, yeah, I was cleaning out the tools in my garage, and I put all the sockets in the bottom of this single thing, and she's looking at me like, "What?" And I'm like, "That's what I'm thinking about." But like, I could simply say nothing. And then we have, I don't know why I want to like, it's something about it just bugs me, dude. Yeah. Because I feel like dudes get away, and then they get in a sense where they don't even know how to share real things. And they're not vulnerable in a conversation about like something that's actually is a sensitive thing on the tank.
Yeah.
You know, that needs to be talked about within relationships, whether it's with your kids, with your, say your parents or your siblings or friends. Like you have this thought that you can just get away with saying, I'm not thinking about anything. And you are thinking about something. Yeah. And even if it doesn't have anything to do with anything, why do we feel like, I don't know, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say right now.
It's almost like
I just feel like we can act like men's brains can't process like
It's
anything.
almost like
I don't know.
we
It bugs
feel like
me.
we've earned the right to just like push the like I'm not here button, you know.
Yeah, like dude, to me that is the real life version of sitcom dads. That's what bugs me about it, and that's why I'm kind of like, everybody's thinking about something. You cannot. I don't. And maybe you can. Maybe it's just because the only brain I know is my own.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly thinking of something.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I don't know, a little bit of a rant there, but I think there's a vulnerability that needs to be like, to be able to share your thoughts. Dude, it's something you got to practice. I mean, it is something that you have to start just stepping into, because there's vulnerability there. Because if it really is something like an issue that needs to be addressed, and you're just kind of like brushing it under and you're not doing anything with it, you're going to get to the point where you're just fine with not engaging.
Yeah.
And I think there's something about that just bugs me.
There's something too about vulnerability, about your ability to lift somebody else up by saying what you're thinking. But sometimes we just don't want to say what we're thinking because it just, I don't know why, it just feels scary or awkward. Yeah. I was thinking about like when I want to tell Grayson or Scarlett, I'm so proud of you. Do you know that like feeling where you feel like this is awkward? Do you know what I mean? Like, let's just be vulnerable right now. You know what I mean? Like where you like, there's times where I feel like there's times where you want to talk to your kids and just pour your heart out on them, but then you feel reserved because you feel like this is too much for them or something. That, dude, right there, maybe we think we're too much for people. Or maybe we think what's going on in here is too much for people, either good or bad. Right. And that's why we don't. That's why we don't ever let what's going on in here come out. You know.
Yeah, I think we miss a lot of opportunities by saying I'm not thinking of anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's something I want to work on. I want to be better at that because I don't. I just want to be better at it.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't want to think that way.
I feel like I feel like the way I've gotten better, even in the last 3 to 4 years, I feel like has been just from I'm thinking I'm proud of you, Grayson, or that he's not even doing anything, and I just want to say I'm proud of him, and just thinking that where I've been telling myself I need to vocalize this. Whatever I'm thinking, I just need to vocalize so that this isn't something where it's like well, I know my dad loves me. You know, obviously I say I love him, but I don't want them to just have to say, well, I know he's proud of me because of his actions. I want them to say, I know he's proud of me because of my dad's actions and what he has said. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's a difference between only either inaction, action, and speaking. Mm-hmm. But if you can do all of those at the same time,
it like solidifies.
Yeah. Or I guess action and verbs, using your words.
Yeah.
At the same time. But yeah, so I think this is how we send it this week.
Say it.
Say what's on your mind.
There you go.
You know what I mean? I think you send it by as a man if you're watching this, or if you're a woman, go be like, husband, I need you to say it.
Just say, I know you're thinking something.
Yeah, I know you're thinking something, dummy. So tell me what's going on. Yeah. But I think if you're a man watching this, or a husband, or whatever, whoever you are, when thoughts come into your mind about the people that you love, don't shy away from those thoughts.
Yeah, lean into them.
Lean into it. Them. Yeah, and start.
Because that's facing it head on. It's an opportunity to be not only strong, but to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's something I think we need. And then that creates conversation and talk and like encouragement to that person. Yeah. I love that idea.
I love that. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Full Send Living Show. We love you guys. You are the best community ever. We love when you guys comment below about the topics we're talking. We love it. So thank you, Full Send Living. We need to come up with a name for you guys. Here we go. Comment challenge right here. Comment below.
For the name of our listeners. Like, yes. What do we call them?
What do we call them?
Yeah.
You know, are they... I don't know.
Full senders.
Senders. No, I don't know.
I have nothing right now.
We'll figure it out. But hey, how about you guys comment below and say this is what you should call your fans for Full Sun Living, the Full Sun Living Show. And then we'll pick out of all the comments which one's our favorite.
And eventually we'll have coffee cups or T-shirts that you can have. I don't know.
It'll be great.
All right. Be sure to share it, subscribe it, like it, hit the bell, do all of those things.
Ding, ding, ding.
And thanks for spending the day with us.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye-bye.